Hey, sixth graders, how's it going? I miss you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to my favorite prayer spot. So this is a small little lake that is close to my home or within walking distance. I'm out here with my dog Hazel. My kids are taking naps right now, so it felt like a good time to escape and get some sunshine. And so I was thinking about this Passion Week, the week that Jesus died. So I had you guys read the story of the Triumphal Entry, Jesus being welcomed as a king. I wanted to talk about why that is so important and so powerful. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep, so I'm gonna get a little closer. But why did it matter? When I think about Jesus, there isn't much that upsets me about him, but that wasn't true when he was alive. Jesus made people upset to the point where they killed him for it. Why were they so upset? First off, he was making claims that were very difficult for the Jews to hear. He would say things like, "I am the Son of God," or "I can forgive your sins." You have to remember the Old Testament. Within the Ten Commandments, he talks about how you should not worship any other thing except God. So if it's an image, if it's an idol, break it down because it's not God. So don't worship it that way. When Jesus said those things, he was setting himself as this idol in a way, that you can worship this. He was putting himself on the same plane as God, and that made people very upset. Although they did understand that there was going to be this coming Messiah, so they expected to be taken care of somehow. So that's step one, why they were so upset. But secondly, step two, what did they expect for that Messiah to be and do? What did he look like? How did he act? And what was he going to do? When the triumphal entry happens, they are greeting Jesus as the Messiah, as this new king. But the way we think of a king doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Here in America, we haven't never had a king until, or ever since the American Revolution, where we officially split from having a king. It's been a hot minute since we've had a king. So it's hard for us to even really think about what a king is and how he works. But they did not. The Israelites understood kings. They had had kings before, and they were currently under the rule of a king. The Jews were not in power. They were being controlled. They were not really making their own decisions. Many were made for them. And the decisions that they could make, they were allowed to make. They weren't able to make them on your own. There's someone mowing in the background, so I hope you can still hear me, but I'm just going to keep on going. So these ideas of a Messiah were very interesting to the first century church, or the first century Christian. And when they really weren't even called that back then because they were just followers of Jesus. But they were very excited about Jesus because they thought that he was going to be a king. Not just in this heavenly thing, like God is our king, but like a physical representation of a king. There to establish his order and reign, to break the Israelites out from the Roman rule, the Roman thumb that they were underneath. But they would become the rulers of their own land once again. And everyone would be kicked out, and it would be like the promised land made all over fresh and new. That's not what Jesus did. Jesus showed up as a king. And even when he's talking to Pilate, and we'll do this later on, Pilate says, "So you are a king then?" And Jesus says, "Yeah, I am a king. But I didn't come to rule that way." So what did he come to do? He came to die. Passion Week is that story. But in many ways, Passion Week is like a disappointing story for the Israelites, for the Jews. It establishes for Jews who are Jewish today that Jesus wasn't the guy. If Jesus was the guy, then why did he die? They don't believe that he ever came back to life. But that's where the Christian story is different. We do believe that Jesus died, yes. But we also believe that Jesus raised. So, here's your assignment. What are the 2 reasons that Jesus was the Messiah, but did not look like the way that they expected him to look? Hopefully you can answer that by watching this video. If you need to go back and watch it again so you can catch them, then please do so. So what are the 2 reasons that Jesus was the Messiah but did not look like the way that the people thought that he would look? Hope you guys are doing well. Next week we are going to read the story of Jesus cursing a fig tree and why it matters. And we'll start talking about the Lord's Supper, and I will even teach you guys how to make your very own communion bread. Love you guys. Hope you're doing well. Miss you terribly. Peace.